Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Devil May Cry 3 on Rocket Rabbit Commentaries, as we begin Mission 4, the Uninvited One, as we have successfully entered Temen Negru, the great tower that separates the demon world from the mortal plane.
You must ascend the tower, young warrior.
Yes, ascend the tower slowly, because that is 75% of this game. It takes place inside of Temen Negru. And we'll be spending a majority of our gameplay going up and down this goddamn tower. I honestly think that Temen Negru is an okay video game location, but it's not honestly all that good.
Well, this sequence looks pretty cool.
We'll be going through and avoiding most of the tower for a majority of the game, though, Cloud. So
it's okay though. I mean, this is New Game Plus. It should be understood that we are way too overpowered to make these fights terribly interesting, or dramatic,
right,
or how shall I say, suspenseful.
Although this particular fight is a bit more dangerous than it's supposed to be, specifically because one of the big problems that Temen Negru has in general is the camera hates you. Okay,
yeah, the camera does.
We're still in PS2. We're still in PS2 slash somewhat early 3D. So yeah, the camera hates you, and the camera doesn't expect you to like it. But yeah, because we're still trying to shake off the limitations of Resident Evil 1 and or 2. We're still having to deal with less than optimal both camera controls and camera placement.
Well, speaking of early Resident Evil games, it was understood that as long as you were holding the aim button in the presence of an enemy, that you generally were on target, even if you, the player, could not actually see the character model you were aiming at.
This is still very true in Devil May Cry. The problem is, the aim button for Dante, I believe, is L2. Yeah, it's like L2, and that on the PlayStation 3 controller combined with the fact that I need to be pressing the face buttons and the analog stick for more complicated attack commands means I'm never actually using the lock on. What I will end up doing for enemy scouting specifically is I'll end up using Ebony and Ivory to auto lock on to the nearest enemy, and then from there I will attempt to figure out where I need to go.
Gotcha.
Through the door.
Well, I'd say you are using auto aim, because that effectively is what it is auto aim. It's a toggle system. You press it like Nier Automata style. But depending on, of course, how difficult you want the game to be, you could turn auto aim off.
Uneventful elevator.
Uneventful elevator. Oh, it's a transition.
Yes.
Well, it was not a very long transition though.
And here we have a new enemy type. These are effectively just upgraded versions of the minor hells that we've been fighting throughout the entire game. I believe these ones are greed. Yeah, these ones are greed. They have a charged up attack that is. There it is. It is a charge of attack that is a projectile, and it does relatively heavy damage. But
Gotcha.
It is also stupidly easy to interrupt, so we don't really need to worry about it.
Well, Dr. Salvador, you'd only ever hit me by getting me from behind or off screen.
And here is an enemy that we have already seen at least once: Sloth. Sloth have a relatively high stagger resistance, and the ability to teleport around. That is honestly the only thing of theirs that is of a significant note, though.
So, are you telling me that there are at least 7 enemies in the bestiary outside of bosses?
Yes. Outside of bosses, there are actually significantly. I think there's a total of 20 enemy types
nice.
in the game. The standard hells that we end up fighting are based on the seven deadly sins. The first one that we see, I'm pretty sure, is wrath. Um, I always have difficulty remembering who the first and last ones are, because I think the last one is actually the boss enemy himself, who is pride. For the record, we are actually supposed to drop down there, so down we go.
Right, because there's nothing to fuck over there.
Well, no, there is something of the fuck over there.
But we can't get through it first because we need a key.
All right, and then the red hells that we see here are, I believe, envies. No. The bomb hells are wraths.
I would think the bomb hells would be gluttony because they appear to be like bulbous sacks on the back of them because they've been eating too many Cheerios. I mean, like ridiculous amounts of Cheerios.
Shit, which one is gluttony? Not because the red ones are envy. I remember that the red ones are envy. The normal black ones, I think, are the normal black ones pride? Okay, admittedly, the names of these enemies are not honestly all that important to me in general. All that really matters to me is how they actually perform in combat.
Right. In a situation where you had to tell your buddy, is it a zombie or is it Klaus? Like, it's nice to have a uniform nomenclature among more than just one player. If it's just you, then yeah, you use visual cues and auditory cues in order to determine who's on the battlefield, and you fight accordingly.
All right, here is our next big boss, which is technically a mini boss, but they're not gonna treat it as one at the moment. This is the tapeworm. Yes, it is actually a tapeworm, I promise. It just isn't inside anything at the moment. It will be inside something later.
Hey, pull the tapeworm out of your ass. Hey, pull the tapeworm out of your ass. Hey, pull the tapeworm out of your ass. Hey.
All right. So what Dante wants to do for this fight is get on top of it until and start doing rather basic sword swings until it starts until it starts attempting to counterattack. Once it starts attempting to counterattack, you need to figure out what counterattack it's going to do. If it's going to do the purple orbs one, you actually have the ability to repulse these purple orbs with the correct timing back at the tapeworm, and it does a minor amount of damage, and you get some pretty significant style points for it too. But like the only weapons that I know can actually do that are Agni and Rudra and Rebellion. I assume that Cerberus actually has the ability to do it, but I've never managed to pull it off. This particular counterattack, however, you do not have the ability to repel. You just need to figure out where they're going to be and dodge them as they are attempting to pursue you.
Gotcha.
The most annoying thing about the tapeworm is that this is one of the only fights in the entire game that actually has your handguns be useful, because you can actually do enough damage to the individual segments of the tapeworm to have him skip the rest of his of whatever phase he's currently on.
I'm sitting in my room waiting for the boss to emerge from the hole in the fucking wall. Sitting in my room waiting for this boss so he is hittable and I can fucking win.
Honestly, the tapeworm is mostly annoying because of the arena that we're in, and I end up saying that a lot for bosses recently. Not in this game in particular, but I recently just dropped a remnant from the Ashes because, well, I personally think that Nightmare is just a ridiculously unfair boss, and the rest of Remnant from the Ashes is actually a really good boss calling game, but Nightmare I personally feel is too much bullshit. But that is the end of Tapeworm, and that is actually the end of this level. So.
Well, we are spared much misery now that I know that my free download of Final Fantasy VII or whatever remake did not go in vain, knowing that the alternative was Remnant from the Ashes.
I actually think that Remnant from the Ashes would have been more worth your time, but
But the Nightmare boss sounds shitty now.
It does, but it's also one of the only bosses in that game that's actually shitty. Despite the fact that everyone has problems with Twin Ixolid, I actually like the Twin Ixolid fight. So, kick the door.
Don't make me angry, door. You bastard. So Dante finally has found something that cannot be affected by him.
Violence, devil boy. Oh, wait. Better listen to what I say, lad. This tower here is very sturdy. You see? Your tricks
Will do no good.
no good.
For the record, I actually enjoy Jester as the character that he is here. I will admit, though, that his personality and voice can be a tad annoying, especially when
Name is Jester.
yes, especially when the plot twist ends up happening with him.
That
Gotcha.
there.
So it is nice to have somebody to talk to for a change.
In order to open the door.
Because knowing Dante, he usually has something pretty cool to say.
Do you know what that is, kid? Or is that too difficult for you?
Dance! Okay, now that's pretty fucking funny.
Actually, I prefer a sword to be my partner.
May I have this dance, my lady?
Well, you know, if Batman ever fucking grew a pair and fired guns at the Joker, we would see the Joker dance like that.
Bingo! That is what the something is. Remember that, kid? Write it down on your hand if you don't trust your head.
Bye, Jester.
Bye, Jester.
Thanks. You still piss me off, though.
Dante is so goddamn cool. And in the next episode, we will continue on with our climb up through Temendingru's main section. Aw, we were too slow.
Look at all those orbs. Mad points.
Be safe, everybody.
And always strive for the superlative achievement.